of a grayish morning.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a fake out of sunshine, but then it kind of disappeared. But oh well, that's what happens today.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens. So anyway, this week we've got spring cleanup.
Spring cleanup.
More of that. We got a head start maybe a month ago, and I'm rip-raring to go.
Yeah, winter came back a little bit. I tried to, cold weather and
yeah,
a lot of rain, so which is fine.
Yeah.
But now it looks like a good day today to get some yard work done.
Yes, so we're focusing on our hill with our trails. We're kind of focusing on that. We just discovered just recently that our town offers free wood chips on a regular basis, like yearly. So we're excited about that. I wish I knew about it sooner. So we're going to line our trails with wood chips.
Yes.
It'll take a very long time, but we are going to make it as thick as possible and focus on that throughout the, I guess, couple seasons.
Right.
It'll probably take us until fall, maybe into the fall. But
that's fine. We don't have a truck, so we're going to be using 5-gallon buckets in the back of the car, maybe a recycling bin full of wood chips, that kind of thing. So
that excites me.
We're going to make it work. I'm excited too.
Yes, it's going to make it look so much nicer.
Yeah.
It should help with the weeds, I guess.
Yeah, it's supposed to keep down the weeds, so, and I think it'll look nice.
I'm excited about that. So we're going to kind of clean that up, but we're also cleaning out that miserable shed. We attempt every year to like, okay, we're going to organize it for good. It's not going to get like this ever again, and somehow it does.
Every year. The thing is with winter, with all the projects going on, sometimes they'll bring home a piece of furniture to refinish, and it just fills up the shed, and I can't maneuver around to keep it clean.
Yeah.
It's something I aspire to every year, so we'll see if it sticks this time.
Well, the thing is, we had it one time. We just actually stopped doing it, but we were doing a booth for a while. So we would have, we would pick up thrifted items. We would create and build certain items. We had, some kind of decor pieces, things like that. We had that going for a while. It was going pretty well, and then it just wasn't. And we were actually owing them at the end because we were paying them to keep the booth. Sometimes you just have to know, you have a bad month here and there, that's fine, but it was going on month after month, and we were like, you know what, it's time. It had been almost a year, so we had given that up. But a lot of the stuff we pick up ended up in the shed or a project. We like to recycle. So an armoire we took down last week for that closet we were doing. If you haven't watched it, watch it last week. I love it. I'm really surprised it didn't get many views because I really am impressed. Paul did a great job. It's very exciting. The thing is, we recycle a lot of stuff, but we did buy new wood as well.
A little bit, yeah, but that's the wood from that armoire sat around in the shed, taking up tons of space for a few weeks.
We like to do that. It's great, but when you have a small cottage, you have a small yard, you have we have a smaller metal shed, and then we have a decent size average shed, but it's not a lot of space. So we're going to try to find a solution. I don't know if we'll find it this week, the solution, but I do know we need to clean it. So we're going to clean that.
Yep.
We're going to turn the compost because it's been sitting for a couple of seasons.
Ready. It should be thawed out by now, so we can turn that around.
That's exciting, and use our tumbler again.
Yep,
so that's good.
Tumbler,
We don't use it in the winter. Oh, and then I'm going to finish it by decorating. The videos by decorating.
Right. That'll be great.
So so I'm very excited about that. And I was focusing on Easter at first. I couldn't do it. Besides now, I couldn't do it because it was that rain-snow mix. It was very cold, very rainy, and I just couldn't get into the mood for it. We kept it nice and neat. We've cleaned it up. We definitely got that little spring cleaning.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to do for this video is actually decorate it, but I'm going to be focusing more on spring. I may add a bunny here and there, but it's probably not going to be very Eastery like I originally intended, but I'm going to make it look nice. I can't really plant anything yet because in our region, in our zone, we don't have it where we can plant anything yet.
Last frost is usually around or after Mother's Day, so...
Yeah, we're kind of in a cold region here, so we're taking time to decide what we want to have in there in research. So it's giving us time to really think about what we want, but we can't do it yet. I had kind of considered faux florals or greenery, and because they're so beautiful now, they look realistic, but it just seems strange to me. So I'm not sure if I'll do that. So there's that. But in between all that also, you are going to start the grass as well.
Right. Our lawn got taken over by clover. And instead of just spraying it and killing it with chemicals, it's also very uneven.
Yeah.
The soil is very lumpy. So I'm planning on digging out the clover as best I can, getting some new topsoil brought in, leveling it well, and then reseeding. So we're going to be starting that over the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, and it's going to be a process.
It will be a process, yeah.
I would love to just add sod, and in the end we may get tired of it and do that, but we have to do it in stages. We have to dig everything out. We have to treat the grubs, and then after a little time of that, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks or a week maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we have to look into
Yeah.
it. We have to see what it says about it. Once that's settled, we're going to come in with new soil, which we'll have to have delivered because we need a good amount of it. Once that's done, then we can plant. We have a secret garden in the backyard. We're probably not going to tackle that. That I may even do a row of sod. I may find a different thing to do.
It's just a pathway, so it's not much grass there.
So it's not, to me, it's, we'll get to that later. Right now, this main part looks so horrible. Because we knew it was falling apart, we kind of made a habit of doing some projects on it. And there's sawdust and it looks horrible. I pray that no one comes here and sees it. It's oh gosh, it's so embarrassing. Easter's coming in a couple of weeks. And I do have company, so I don't want it to look like that. We've been kind of letting it be because snow was covering it. It didn't matter, but now it matters. So, and it will never do that again. We'll have to find a new spot to do our project. So but that's it. As far as if I'm remembering correctly, that's it. It's a lot of work this week. This is a very physically labor-intensive week.
It is, yeah.
But
it needs to be done.
It needs to be done.
It'll be worth it in the end.
And we'll feel good about it. And we're going to probably rake around the rest of the yard, not just on the hill, because we need to do that last-minute cleanup. And then,
no matter how many times you clean up the leaves, there's always more that just happen to collect in the corners and here and there in the spring. So.
And some of the plants where they're dried, where they just dried out and you leave the dry for the winter for the interest for the birds and whatnot, we have to start cutting those back because they're starting to look kind of ratty. So we'll do that. And I'm excited because we're starting to see greens and flowers. We've already had our crocus already.
Yeah.
And the tulips and daffodils are forming. So that's exciting.
It is, it really is.
And before we know, even I see buds on the leaves, on the trees. So that's exciting. This is a time when we start getting the flowering trees, we start getting the leaves back on the trees, greens popping out here and there.
Exciting time.
Excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I see some exciting things happening and ending it with a nice fun decor and that's it. So
sounds great. I think we should get started. What do you think?
No. Can I just sit here and discuss with you? I never look forward to hard labor, but
maybe another cup of coffee first. Then we'll get started.
Yeah.
Either way, join us for the ride and hope you enjoy.
Today we're going to start by raking and pulling some weeds and starting to clean up the hill. have no words to describe this nightmare that we are looking at. I'm embarrassed to show you this, but I want you to see what can happen behind the scenes of a YouTube channel when everything seems like it's falling into place, but then you have a shed like this, or a spot in a room, or whatever it may be, where you just throw stuff. Now, it was winter, and in the winter, and even late fall, and even into this early spring, you find yourself like working on projects, you have nowhere to put stuff. Some of our summer things are in here. We've kept our cushions inside for the season so mice wouldn't get to it. We're going to find a solution for that at some point. It's very difficult in the house, but everything else, garden tools, just stuff we need to get to, boxes, snow blowers, all these things make such a mess, and then it gets really dirty and you can't properly clean it. This week we're going to not only be doing the cleaning up here, but also in the shed, in the compost area. We're going to be turning it. This is going to be all nice and organized. We're trying to find a solution so this won't happen every time we do something. We're also going to be, look at the projects we've been doing out here on the grass. The grass is totally awful. It's pretty much all clover and it's falling apart and it's just really bad shape. And then we have sawdust because we've been working on some things. This will be the last time we do anything on the lawn because we are revamping this entire lawn. This week, don't mind my husband with the blower right now, if you can hear me in the background. But what we're not doing, obviously, is showing you the result because we're not getting instant gratification. We're not getting sod. So it's going to be a process with the new soil. We're going to be digging it up, dealing with some grubs just in case, as we're pretty sure we've had them we know we've had them for the past couple years. We're pretty sure it's still there now. So we want to take care of that solution. We're going to come in with soil and then we're going to seed. We have to time everything properly, but we're at a point where we're going to dig all of this up this week and we're going to deal with the grubs first, and then we'll probably give it a week or so, come in with new soil, and then seed. So I'm going to have to deal with the ugliness of the dirt, basically. But I have to do it this way because I want it done right. If we can't bear it any longer and we're just not ready for waiting, we may end up considering sod, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to go with that method. Everything is just waking up. We're seeing some green coming out, which is very exciting. Green come up with the plants. We have this we're going to be digging up and cleaning up. It's filled with little stones. We had pea stone in our driveway and various places, like even here in the garden. We've dealt with that for a while, so it finds its way into other areas. Really consider pea stone, folks, if you're going to do it. It's a mess. So we're going to be cleaning all that up. The faux stone technique that we did, it's everywhere. It's great except for right here where water used to be dripping until we fixed the gutters. But even still, it just somehow comes down, it comes apart, breaks down here. And then on the side of our driveway, on the side of the house, for some reason, moisture really gets there and it gets like this. It gets eaten up a little bit. But all of that's going to be raised beds, and then we're going to put up this fence again, because these are all cemented in, if you remember from last year. We're going to be putting up that wire fence again and doing raised beds in here, but we're going to make a door so we can go in there. This is not this week, but this is coming. We're very lucky that in our town at the fire station, they provide free wood chips. Every year they cut down some trees that get in the way of power lines and whatnot, and they make wood chips, and they are free to the community. Of all the years we've lived here, we did not know that until just recently. So we want it nice and thick. It's going to take quite a lot of stops to get the wood chips. Oh boy, it's going to be a lot of work. And this is, with every trail that we have, this is a lot of work. And this is just part of one trail. If you can see, look how lovely that looks. And it'll get moved around a little bit as you're walking on it, but it'll compact. But as you can see down the middle there's a lot of green. So we're going to have to weed a bit, but it'll all be so nice with these beautiful wood chips for the trail. We have an area on the outside of our fence that's still on our property line, beyond our fence, where we have a row of compost, and we have a metal shed for garden tools. We have some excess bricks and whatnot that we use in our garden. And right here, Paul is just tossing and turning the compost. We try to do that regularly in season, but also off season. We try to get in there and put some clean paper product. And then he's just tossing it at the beginning of the season. And we'll be doing this regularly in season. So now we're going to be working in the lower section of our yard. We're cleaning up the pond and siphoning it. We're going to clean it out and refill it. What he's doing right now is siphoning it. And it drains out into our rock part of our driveway. And this awful yard here, last year we just couldn't get to it, but this year we're going to finally attempt to clean up the grass, get rid of these stones. We're going to make a different type of walkway and clean up the grassy area in the backyard. It's a small, flat part of the yard with grass, so it shouldn't take too long and it shouldn't be too hard, but it is a very labor-intensive project. So what he's doing now is removing the stones from the pathway first. And then we're going to attack all the grass and the lower section of the yard, and we'll be digging that out. Once that's all dug out, this will be weeks. You will not see a finished project, folks. But once we are done with all that, we'll then be having some soil delivered, and then we're going to pile that on top of everything. We do have to deal with some grubs, and we'll be dealing with that first, then the soil, and then we'll be planting grass seed. It will take about 6 weeks to start seeing any type of maturity of grass growing. So for now, this is a very long project, and it's very difficult to live with dirt for a while, but I know in the end it'll be worth it. On our front patio, we have a bench. I attempted to clean up the fabric. It was kind of a worn fabric on our patio, and it was starting to tear. So I decided to use a fabric paint and paint them a nice dark blue color. Well, the front patio looks okay with the smaller cushions, but the big cushion really didn't look great. It was starting to wear and tear and be torn. So I decided to replace it. I was going to just order new cushions, but I wanted to see if I could do it. I went to our local library where they had a craft fair, and they were getting rid of materials that you can pick for free with a donation. We really enjoyed that. I picked up all kinds of wonderful things. And one of the things was this teal curtain. I know it doesn't quite go with our dark blue fabric, but I thought it would really complement it and be really pretty and springy. I'm an amateur at sewing, so I attempt to make a basic stitch. So what I did with that is I used the curtain and I flipped it inside out, put the cushion inside, and made the basic stitch. In doing so, I ended up sewing the cushion to it because I didn't remove the cushion. So that was a fun adventure. But it turned out good enough, and we put it down in the front patio, and I think I'm okay with it for now. No one has to see the stitching. But it's something you can do even if you don't sew. If you know a basic stitch, you can quickly, with any material, you can quickly make something recovered. We're cleaning up our front patio and getting it ready for spring. So the fire pit had started to rust over the winter. So in any time, honestly, that you burn any wood in here, it starts to rust a little bit. But we wanted to give it a quick refresh for the spring, and we do periodically refresh it during the season. So we're touching it up with outdoor exterior black paint to make it look brand new again. So it's more in our budget, but also things in this region, plants in this region do not tend to grow at this early to mid-April. So what I'm doing is I'm placing some faux greenery and faux flowers. Normally I would think that's a little bit tacky, but honestly they're looking better and better this year with the quality of their faux plants. This, believe it or not, was from Dollar Tree. You can tell that they're not real greenery. I have it mixed in with real greenery we had from our property. I am going to be adding some more soon, but that's the beginning of it. So I have this bucket, 5-gallon bucket that I had clipped some forsythia on our hill. And what I'm going to do is wrap some fabric. If you remember that little cushion I made on the porch, I had some of this, it's actually a curtain, what's left of it, and I'm debating. So I was going to put the yellow around it, but I'm not sure if I would see this through it. So I'm going to do like a double layer. I'm going to place this around it. I'm going to just do a quick tie around it. And then I'm going to tuck this, kind of turn it down a little bit. I'm not sewing or anything, I'm just tucking it a little. And I'm going to put this over that. And again, tie it. This tied part will be towards the back of it. It'll be towards the house, so I won't even see it. Just enough to get like a cover so you don't see a white bucket. And then I had this cute burlap ribbon that had green polka dots on it. I had grabbed this from a little library craft sale that we had here in town, where basically they were giving everything for free, which was awesome. Such a great town, and you just make a donation, which we did because we love our library. Highly recommend libraries, by the way, for all kinds of things. I was going to maybe put a bow. I'm trying to think if I have space to do a bow here. I suppose I do. I'm not sure if I had enough material for that, but just a rustic bow. I'm not getting fancy. I understand there are people who can really rock the bow thing. I'm not one of those people, but I'm doing a very basic bow. I actually had more material there. I could have tied more. Let me try to work this out here. I'm not sure how long this will last because we didn't put it right away in water. We had clipped the forsythia yesterday, and we didn't put it right away in the water because we did it later in the evening, and then we came in for dinner, we got distracted. So because of that, I don't know how much it'll hold. So in the least bit, it'll be okay until Easter anyway. I'm trying not to have this excess here. I'm going to lift this yellow fabric up a bit so it, remember it's flapped over so you don't see the rough edge. So it looks like a cool little, you don't see the bucket at all. I'm not hating that it's curling on the end. I think it's a cute little detail. Sometimes when they roll up like that, they curl. I think it's kind of neat. All right, so just a very basic rustic bow. And there we have a cute little display of forsythia for the patio or your porch. I'm going to put it right outside the front door, right by the door. Okay, so next we're going to do these planters. And they've just been weighted down with bricks and they were holding certain things in place. Hopefully you can hear me over the traffic, but we are going to make them spring. So we're going to put some sticks in here to do like a faux flowering tree. And then I've collected some moss from up on our hill. You can put fake moss, of course, but I just happen to have some real moss. So I'm going to put them on the bottoms to cover the bricks, and it's going to look so cute. Hopefully somewhat natural. So Paul has cut me these 2 branches from the birch tree, I believe. I'm going to use those. Foil is not frozen anymore. It should be nice to work with. Should be able to stick it right in there and then move the bricks around to hold it in place if it needs a little bit of an anchor. So I put this on top of the patio and this one lower. I wasn't sure if I liked the varying heights, but I think what I like about it is this way, they're out of the way. Otherwise, they were too close to the stairs and they wouldn't have let room in if we wanted to walk up the stairs. Someone would have gotten kind of in the eyes with the sticks here. So now I'm going to put on the bottoms inside the pots where the bricks are, to cover the bricks, I'm going to put moss all around. And again, I have real moss, but you can put faux moss. So now we have the moss on the base, the real moss. So it's always going to be a little bit more brown, but we're going to keep watering it. And I might even put some faux moss on top of it just to green it up a bit. So the next step is adding some faux florals. I'm just going to water these in so it gets the dirt off of it and hopefully encourages more of the moss to grow and hopefully greens it up a little bit, cleans it up. So Paul clipped these branches for me. I'm going to cut them into smaller branches, make like a makeshift bird's nest. I'm going to make a couple of them. Let's see how they turn out. I'm starting with the thicker branches and then moving my way to thinner ones. I'm trying to keep them somewhat of the same length and separate them. A good way to use these excess branches on your property, especially if it's a dead tree. This one in particular isn't particularly a dead tree, but it's excess on the property, so that helps. Start to cut some a little shorter, just slightly. So now that I've got them cut, now I'm going to layer them to make a makeshift nest. So I'm just layering and kind of piling on top. I'm going to decide where I want it. I think I'm going to put it over here next to that planter. So, and I may make a smaller one up on the front deck here. But for now, I'm going to focus on this little area. I'm just going to do a makeshift. I'm not binding anything together, at least not yet. I may with some twine later, but right now I'm just laying it on to make like a small rustic wreath. Try to get to the thicker, bigger branches for the bottom. Some of the smaller, thinner branches I'm adding to this little planter here. I'm not crazy about the multicolored eggs, but I thought if they fade, I'm not too worried. I may actually, if I have time, I may spray paint them all unified color, which I would prefer. But until then, we're going to do that. So I'm just adding that so it looks almost nest-like and a little more rustic. And then I'll show you my wreath on the ground here. It's like a makeshift, almost triangular shape. But as you add the smaller branches to the bottom, if you can see properly, it just starts to look more nest-like. And I'm going to add some faux moss to it here and there, and probably add some faux moss to the top up here. Dried moss, I should say. I shouldn't say faux moss. Hopefully you can hear me over the ridiculous traffic behind me. But this dried moss up there, and a little to there. And I'm going to add a small little bird's nest up to the top of my stairs here too, with the dried moss. I was going to add it over here, but maybe I'll add it to this corner here.
I'm going to take my snippers and loppers with me just in case I need to trim more. We'll start with the bigger sticks on the bottom. So it's kind of in a triangular shape, but it gets the basic idea. And we want it super rustic. So we want twigs kind of going in different directions. We don't want it a perfect circle. Well, I don't anyway. So as you can see, it's very rustic, like a triangular shape, but I like that. Okay, now I'm going to just place my dried moss in places on the wreath. Some that look a little more brown, and then there's some green on top. I'm choosing not to hot glue it, so we'll see how it stays, but I'm going to really tuck it in the best I can.
Bring it over there to you, or?
I'll grab some more for me. So I want to have some real live moss in between. Just breaking it up into clumps. And again, we're going to place some real moss, live moss. I don't know why I keep saying real and faux, but it's real moss. All of it. Just some is more live than the other. Although I do feel like some of what I had was maybe faux. There. Messy around, I have to clean up, but it's pretty much what we have here. Isn't it pretty? So these are solar lights, and what's going to happen is by tomorrow, hopefully they'll have charged up a bit with the sun, because I'm putting it out when the sun's already fallen, so I don't think they'll light up tonight. But tomorrow, hopefully they'll light up. I wanted to just put a couple on, one on each panel here. So let's hope that they work out. They look neat. So the eggs were really bugging me. They were this very colorful, plasticky eggs, and I really wanted them to be a more muted and more cohesive color. Paul and I had sprayed them with gray paint and a little bit of green paint. We had one blue one. I thought I'd leave blue, but we made that a cohesive look instead of a bunch of different colors. so that's it, friends, for this week. We hope you enjoyed this video. We wanted to do, I know it's a little bit late for Easter, but most of what we have done is also going to stay up for some of spring, for a good chunk of spring actually. We hope you enjoyed this video on our patio renewal and some spring cleaning. We hope that it encourages you to get out there and do some cleaning. I know it's awful, but it ends up looking so much better after a long dormant winter. Stay tuned for next week where we'll be back inside for doing other projects, but we hope you're inspired to get out there in this nice weather lately and do some faux planting, if not real planting, and depending on your zone, and maybe add a little bit of touches here and there for spring. We all wish you here from Brambleberry Cottage, wish you all a happy Easter and a wonderful spring, and we'll see you next week.